Okay, let's go. Let's do some more puzzles. This is the daily puzzle, it should be easier. There is this, so both the queens are hanging, of course. Material is down a pawn, right? This is the first capture of this entire game. Down a piece even. Okay. But I can't take the queen and then take this pawn with my rook. Because this rook is undefendable, and if you take, then I take back and you can't prevent me from promoting. Am I missing anything? I don't think so, because you're basically forced to take the queen. Yeah, only +4 makes sense. Okay. So this is checkmate, except there's a queen here. You can kick the queen twice, but that opens up some check possibilities. So here forces this. You can also go here. So instead maybe this. Actually no, this, because otherwise you might be able to take and only sack a queen for a rook. There's no check, there's no defense of the knight. Okay. Oh! Almost missed that, but you could just have queen a6 as an in-between move. Yep. Okay, there's this nice line here, which coincide on f2, which is defended twice. There's this maybe, so g4 may almost wins a piece. This just removed one of the defenders. h3 is hanging. Bunch of those are just a bunch of observations about the position. It must be something with one of these. But I don't see how to attack the f-pawn again. Or kick out the bishop or something. We are down a piece for 2 pawns. But I don't know. So winning a pawn I don't think is enough, which you can easily do by, for example, this. That seems like a good pawn as well. Or just taking here. Or taking the rook and then g4. Or no, but you can take with the bishop. I do like take this. Attacking the bishop. Oh, and this bishop, because the pawn is pinned. That's just a double attack winning a piece. That's good enough, I think. Or do you take h3 first? No, right? Because then they just take on e8. Okay, did I miss something? I doubt it. This wins a piece. This is a normal trick where you... Oh no, wait, it doesn't, because you can take with the queen. Generally that wins a piece. Stuff like that. This queen just barely defends. This is something to know. The knight is kind of pinned, but it's more like a... what's it called? Discovered attack. With the knight. And if you move the knight to defend the queen, you can take back with the knight and win a piece sometimes. So that structure is something you should have seen before at some point. It doesn't work here though. Because the queen takes back. However, where can the queen go? Plenty of spaces actually. I wanted to see if this is something. And it... Oh. Wait a second. If I do this, I can also skewer the bishop. How do you defend that? Because the bishop is already hanging. Oh, you moved the bishop first. Clearly. So this bishop goes to here, let's say. And that. But then I have a rook on the 7th. And I can do this. No, the rook is defended, so that doesn't really help. Also this, that. Maybe that's fine. Actually, that's fine, I think. Because I just go to h8 and there's no check. So here, take the bishop, threatening here. You can take here, that's fine, and then move the rook. Or something. Oh, but then it's a trap. It's a mate trap thingy. So this forces a bishop move. Let's say there. To keep this line open. Here, threatening probably something bad. Actually it's only a perpetual, right? No, it is actually a win. Yep. Ooh, I just saw something cool. Because I realized this square, this is important. And you can get there via here. You can also, of course, get there through here. And then the queen can't take the knight. So here, if you take the knight, of course, I win the queen. If you, for example, try this, then I can do check, check, And let's say here, and check winning a piece. And if you don't do that, then it's probably a checkmate, so you're forced to take the queen, right? Nice triangle, sort of. Reminds me of that position. It was I believe it was in a Sinkfield Cup or something, where there was an engine line which with a knight. I believe it was a white knight here. Here, no, white knight. So here, but yeah, let's look at it from a knight here. And there was a massively winning line where you go knight d3, threatening something, knight c5, threatening something, knight d7, threatening something, and then the winning move was knight e5, and suddenly everything collapsed, which was beautiful. But yeah, this is something different, but it's still close. Okay. Ooh, you can take f7. And maybe what's the material like? Oh, and there's a mate threat, so I have to be forceful or defend. Or both. So I can't just check and win a piece, even though material's equal, because then I lose. Okay. Good to know. So, check here. Whoa. I think I saw it. So, here's the idea. Try to figure it out while I'm slowly explaining my thoughts. So, check here. You can sack a piece to open up this file, but that doesn't actually help. You're forcing the opponent to take, by the way. So what if instead you make sure that they can't take? This pawn is already gone, so this pawn needs to die as well, which we can do. Check. Now, if they go here, it's checkmate. If they go here, so this is out. If they go here, check. Oh wait, no, it's this checkmate. Good. And if they take with the knight, check and mate. Nice. That's pretty. I like that. This is interesting. What was just taken? A pawn, okay. There is this line to check. It must be something with the king. The queen is active. Might even be something along this line. So check and this pin. But that's not very likely. I think I need to open up this rook. So the only real move to consider is this. This must be something interesting. Check. Forced to go there or there. If you block, then I win. Let's say here, because that looks weird, because that gives me this check. Oh, that's a checkmate. Nice. Check. Check. This is also a known setup. Go back and here. Okay, so that wins. So check here is the only possible alternative. And now the rook can get in, maybe. Or I give this check. That's also fun. Because if you block, with the queen I win, or take with the queen I win, and if this, then this check can mate into. So check here, check, and you have to run again, and then this wins a I believe it's just checkmate. So I think that must be it. Queen sack makes sense. Everything else was checkmate. Ooh. This is just a drawn position, right? Rooks. But this is interesting. So this or something like that, the king just moves and that doesn't really do anything, I don't think. If I give this check, the king has two legal moves, and this one clearly loses because of the discovered attack, or the skewer, I believe. Skew, yeah. The X-ray attack. That's how I would call it, but whatever. Here. And now. Just push. Because, I mean, the king is on the side, but there's no real checkmate, I don't think. Could try this. And that. But that doesn't actually work, I don't think. Or I just keep running. So check here, check, move. You can block. You can even give a lot of checks, but I can get to... where do I need to go? Well, if I go here, then that's it, but that's fine because I can run there in the end. I mean, it must be this check. That's a good start. It doesn't need to be push. The king can't go back though. So you have to give a check first. Oh, but then the king moves. And that should be a draw. Might even be a loss, but I think that's just a draw. Okay, so push again is no good. I mean, rook e4 is the other is the alternative. If you got something, please mention it. I like rook e4. The king can return though, but then you can... No. Maybe the king moves up. I was looking at king moves back, but then with mate threat, maybe just the king moves up. Or that. No, that's a draw. Check. Oh, hey. That's nice. So the king can't actually return to play. So you can try, I don't know, something like that maybe. But then I can get the king stuck exactly where it is. So only the rook can move. And if the rook ever moves off of the c-file, you get king here, there, and the pawn runs. Actually, here. No, wait, the king is already gone. I thought maybe you could block with the rook. So let's say in this position rook c3. I don't think it matters what black does exactly. Maybe here and create a blockade on the d file so you can try to run. Or maybe this. Then the king can move again. Oh, but then you go here. And can push again. I think I like that. Guess not. Is it just run? Oh, it's you go this route. I was looking at this and then you get stuck. But that's not it. You go the other way. This, if I get the rook there, then I win a queen, but doesn't actually work, maybe. Also, it might be checkmate, just straight up. So here, take the pawn, check. Yeah, that's just mate, because here, and here. Oh, here, you go there. So this threatens mate, but you can just defend. Pawn. Oh, but then I win queen versus rook and bishop. Or I take in that case I can take immediately. Is that strong enough to threaten checkmate? Must be, right? Check here afterwards. Sack the bishop and this, and like you get this or whatever. I'll just assume that I figure out how to give a checkmate in that position. Maybe not actually rook e7, but rook here. Or here, I mean. No, not there either. Ooh. So I was looking at this line. Sack the bishop, but then there's no real good check, I don't think. This just gets blocked. Oh, but then you win the queen. Okay, so this is an actual check. So that must, I mean, you can go here and then this. Must be good enough. I'll figure it out. It depends on what black does, but I don't think it matters. So take. If you take with the queen, I win it. And if you don't take or try to defend against checkmate somehow, like let's say this, that's a bad move, but I don't know what's a useful move really. Maybe this, or maybe here. Maybe still rook g5. Should be good enough. I'm getting annoyed slightly. I'm just gonna try some stuff. That's rook e6 is pretty decent though. Ooh. Queen is hanging, but it's pinned. But nice. Check. You only have 2 legal moves. On one of them I win the queen immediately, and on the other one I have to sack my queen. And you can't take back with the rook because the king blocks. Which I assumed would have been the better... Oh no, wait, it's just immediately checkmate. Okay. Material's weird. I have a rook and a knight for a queen. In terms of pawns, I'm down a pawn as well. There is this discovered attack winning a piece. And that does actually work. This also wins a piece. Am I missing something? Probably, but... Oh! No. That's not good enough because I should take the queen. I thought, well, this pawn is actually pinned, so maybe you can just take here. And if you take with the rook as well... But... you can just take the queen. I mean, both of these win a piece. Is there better than winning a piece? Oh, this wins a piece. Right? No, actually not. This doesn't win. This doesn't either. But these do. Actually, this one doesn't either, I don't think. Because you go, for example, here. And take. So it is actually this one because you take here with the knight. Worst case. Okay. What's going on? Let's take a look at some of the moves. I think this might be some sort of line. I've seen this before. At times this really feels like a compilation of legal moves. Okay. So this is hanging. Material is equal. Down a pawn. I can sack a knight here. Take here. And take there. I just take back with the queen. Lose a piece but give this check regardless, but that's not actually it. Let's say this take, right? And you don't have to take there. Take back, you can do this, check. And bishop blocks. Take. Check here, maybe. Oh, that's probably nothing. Blech. I have a stupid idea. There are only two legal moves in this position, namely both of these knights, and so it must be this knight. I don't know what the solution is. I'm assuming strongly that I should just take back the rook. Oh, is it that the queen gets trapped? Yes, it does. Okay. Nice that I found that. Okay. This is a normal position, at least, kind of. We're down a rook, but that's because we sacked it somewhere here, right? Sack a piece, sack an exchange, yeah. Take seems decent. Or seems like a move worth considering. Okay, so if rook takes, you can go here. That doesn't actually work, I don't think. There's this check as well. Must be some mate thing. That's why I'm looking at stuff like that. So, check. The most forceful moves. I mean, none of these are any way, shape or form possible. Right? I mean, you are up a piece. Actually, what if I don't? What if I just do this? Attack this rook. Nah, that does nothing. It just moves. Actually, it does do something, because this would be a double attack, so you're forced to move the king. That's not good enough. But I can do that. Which also I don't think is good enough. because of check, check. Maybe this is okay. I mean, you can get in, but that's not good enough, probably. Let's no. Let's see if I can get 23 under it today. That's at least a goal. Maybe a bit more if this is a plus 12 or something. I don't wanna end it immediately. So, I mean, there are some lines here to draw. King is very stuck. This rook is also very stuck. Double attack. This is nothing, right? I don't see it yet. I don't have to move the queen, I can give this check. Rook takes, check, rook blocks, I get this. That's cool, that doesn't help. Oh no, it does help. That wins a rook. And the attack continues as well. Check here wins this rook. Is that good enough? Maybe it is because the attack continues. And we're up a pawn. Queen blocks, I can just take because it's check, so it's fine. +9. Okay, I do wanna analyze this position. This position, sorry. Okay, must be f takes g7. Doesn't matter what you take with. Yeah, it makes sense that you have to take. And rook f1. Okay, let's look at the other two lines, because queen f7 is the one that makes the least sense to me why that's good. Well, it makes enough sense. I want to look at this, this. Oh, you win the queen here. Nice. I missed that. And this is so far so good. And then you have to find rook e1. I was looking through the other line, but it's just a repeat. You have to still find rook e1. That would have been a good puzzle if you need to find rook e1 here. And the point is that even if the rook moves, Because you can sack the queen, of course, in any different way. But this is checkmate, probably. Ah. Let's say the rook is on... can it be on h1? Nope. Oh, you take the rook there. Of course. And this is a standard setup for a checkmate. Okay. Sure. Unfortunately, Ancient says to sack the queen, so you do. Okay. 97, that's good. I don't think I've ever had this rating for puzzles, which is not that high, honestly, but I never really cared to. Like, I've got a little brother who's like 1300 rated, I believe, in like real life, and has a puzzle rating of 2500. So yeah, puzzles are not really you can get quite high quite easily, and I just never bothered. Yeah, there's a pin here. There's this line that looks interesting. There's this line that looks interesting. Maybe the combination. There's this line and this defense of the, well, attack of where the king is, maybe. There's f6 check. f6 check looks good, because that's forced mate in 3, and I don't think it's stoppable, but maybe you just give enough checks. Because the white king is also very open. Let's see. Let's look at the last couple of moves. Okay, that makes sense. I don't know why this makes sense. Probably to get on the line. On the line for this diagonal, I mean. But if I give a check there, then f6. Unless I go here and go up, winning a rook, and also just winning with checkmate. Also, that's already checkmate. So this forces the king to move. But can go there, right? Maybe then I just take here, because everything's defended and it's all fine. Or this. But this is check, and that's if I take back the defense. Also there's this check, which is actually defended by my queen. So is there a safe place for my... Almost. No, there is. Wait. Check here, this. Take the bishop, king g3. There's no check. And then rook h8 is checkmate and there's nothing. Actually f6 exists. But then I take back the bishop. It's not clear. Oh, king g7. No, maybe it is clear. Yeah, because you have to block, and then I give this check and this check, and you take here. Maybe that's still a draw. Gross. I really want to play queen e5 and rook h1. Oh, also if I move the king then I lose the rook. So that none of this line works. If you spotted that, you get a point. Not sure what the points mean. You get one. I mean, there's also... Oh, that doesn't actually work. Good. Attacking or pinning an attacked piece, but you just discovered attack with check, so you're forced to take. Queen e5 here. All other moves are made immediately with rook h1. So here, take the pawn. Probably not, right? Anything else that could be possible? Maybe rook h1. No. Rook h1 immediately is wrong for sure. Really the only main moves to look at are these two. After f6 king here, you can even play rook h1 and threaten mate. No, actually you can't, because the mate isn't on the h file, it's here, through here. Puzzles are getting really difficult. Queen e5 is just a strictly better version of queen c3, so it must be one of, or it must be not be queen c3. Right? Actually, maybe you can do that. But what's the point? Yeah, what's the point? This king must be the target. And it's not rook h1. It could be rook h1, but then you have to take back the bishop. It could also be this. Just sack the bishop. Nah, that can't be. I really like queen e5 though. Forcing king h8 or king g8. Maybe if I take, and then there's a queen b2 check, and then king here and no more checks, that's all fine. So that doesn't really help. It can. But if I realize at some point that it's useful, I'll insert it then. The pawn is on f7 is still pinned. There's a pawn on g6. The pawn on f7 is attacked thrice and only defended twice. So you have to defend it with the queen at some point. Okay, so I found a good reason to include this. Oh, that doesn't work. There's no way to go back to defend the pawn. So you go, for example, here, take the pawn. Let's say take, check. Sorry, from here. And because if you go to the h file, then rook h1 is checkmate. So you can't actually include this, but you really want to. So check, go there. I think that's too difficult. Or I just trade everything off of an f7 and claim that the endgame is winning, which is a draw. Or I don't trade anything off and just... So I get to black rook here, queen here, king there, queen, white queen here, white rook here. No more pawns here, pawn there, there. And I could play something like rook f6. Maybe not f6, maybe f5. To go to g5. Or maybe not actually, because I want to go use the queen as well. That's encircle these, and kind of confusing. That position. I mean, everything is stuck, but this pawn can run. Maybe I can do this. Stuff like that. It must be winning, right? But I think it's not clear enough, probably. I mean, what kind of alternative moves are there? Like F6? Taking on G6? No, F6 immediately. Here again. Bishop is still pinned. No. Why do you go to G8? That makes no sense to me. What's the point? I don't see it. Oh! Okay. I mean, take the rook must be the first move. There's literally no other choice. Now how do you win this? Trading rooks would be good enough. I think. I'm fairly certain. My king is too close. So rook g8 is a good threat, forcing the king forward somehow, or to the e-file, or rook check, of course. Then I move up. You just, yeah, that doesn't really help, I don't think. And I go sit here. And then there's no more checks. Then the king can move, and then I go here. Plenty of ways to defend, but doesn't look accurate. I could even just move up with my king, because that's the normal plan. And on check I just move up again, but can't block. And then what? There must be some nice way to force rook trade or something. The reason I wanted to go here, by the way, is this option, but that doesn't really help. I'm fairly certain. This does, rook e2 does permanently cut off the king, because you can't ever block with the rook because trading rooks is winning for white. And then I can slowly advance. Can't think of anything better. Sure, deal with it. What's the win actually if you... I'm gonna play it out a bit. Yeah, this makes sense. Actually, is this winning? Oh, but the king is still too far away. So it is winning. Yeah. Yeah, my king is too close. What are you doing? Yeah. Yeah, it's good enough. Okay. 1 point, by the way. 1 rating point, that's all I need. Okay. Am I safe to not give a check? Maybe. I don't think I'm safe to move my knight. Maybe I am actually. Maybe that just barely holds. So for example this, which probably this looks really winning. I think that's the point. Check, check, and I need to survive this. I think that should be possible. Don't care. Could it be... this? Why f5? That's what I don't... Oh, you take the rook and its mate. That's the threat. Now it's claiming zeros, but pawn f5, oh, gross. Ah, and here it's claimed zeros. That's cool though. So what does it claim here that the solution is? Rook a4. Okay. It's cool that it doesn't see that here yet. Okay. This is an interesting line. The queen is so close already. This queen has squares, it can go back, so it's not trapped or anything. Except that this... no, that doesn't trap it either. This is a mate threat, how do you defend? I think that's a very good question. You can't give either of these checks. Can't do that. And you can't do this. You can do that. Fair. Is it that you take with the rook? I think so. Because you still can't defend. Without losing a piece. Oh, maybe you can. Just barely. Hold on. Oh, and and then you go to attack stuff. That makes no sense. Let's do that. What's wrong with this? Oh, okay. Makes sense. That. Okay, one more win. I mean, this is just a checkmate threat. Also check. That is 2. No, it's not. This is, but that loses a piece. This is a checkmate threat. And how do you stop that? You can try to run, but then I win a rook. Sometimes that's kind of anticlimactic, honestly. I was kind of struggling to get to 2300 and then I get there immediately. But yeah, it's been long enough. See, maybe I'll do this probably a couple more times because I want to do some puzzles and I want to force myself, but I know that nobody cares, but I do, so it's fine.